and welcome to the FEMA Region 6 podcast. Today we're going to be talking about people with disabilities and their abilities to work, not just anywhere, but specifically here at FEMA. So we've very graciously been joined by two office mates, two colleagues who are here with us today. First, from Mission Support, we have Maria Markham. Maria, would you like to introduce yourself?
Good afternoon. My name is Maria Markham, and I'm a program specialist for Mission Support under Employee Services.
And Maria, how long have you been with FEMA?
I've been with FEMA 9 years. It'll be 10 years in February.
And so did you always start as a mission support specialist? Is that what you always did?
No, I started with external affairs under you. Thank you so much.
Well, she had a great boss.
I sure did. I sure did. And made great friends. Yeah. So I started as an admin support specialist under external affairs, and I was there for 3 years. And it was my way to get the foot in the door this was my first federal job. So I so appreciate everything that I learned, and I was able to move to Employee Services later on.
And what is Employee Services exactly?
That's sort of the HR part of FEMA, and it's called Employee Services.
Thank you, Maria.
Thank you.
And we also have Deborah Owens. Deborah, would you like to introduce yourself?
Thank you. I'm Deborah Owens. I am an administrative specialist, and I work in the office of the regional administrator. I've been with FEMA 6 years now. Started in August in 2013, right after the Moore, Oklahoma tornadoes. And so I had no previous federal government experience, but I do have a very diverse background. And I was told it was the right fit, and it's been the right fit for me, and I absolutely love what I do.
That's fantastic. So thank you both for joining us today. We're talking about a topic that a lot of people may experience, but not everybody is really open to talk about. So first of all, thank you for being so brave to share your personal experiences. And we're really trying to recruit. We're trying to help people understand that FEMA is a great place to work. So a lot of people believe that if you have a disability, you can't take care of yourself, you can't work. But you two are here and are examples of the fact that that's not the case, because not only do you work, but both of you are very involved here at the region, and both of you thrive. You are well known throughout the region. Your work is known. So how does having a disability impact your ability to work? Deborah?
Well, actually, it doesn't, because I'm able to manage my disability. And I don't have an outward disability. You can't physically see my disability. But it doesn't limit what I do. Like you said, you thrive. I do have, in my past, experience working with children with disabilities. And I started an angel ministry. And the reason I started that ministry is because I wanted children with disabilities to be integrated into the mainstream lesson area and not set aside, because they want to be a part of that too. And I think people with disabilities, they have something to contribute. And I think that that's what I bring to the table. Just because I have a disability doesn't mean I can't do the job.
Exactly. Well said. Maria, what about you? How has your disability impacted your ability to work?
So I have Sjogren's disease. I don't mind sharing. A lot of people are not familiar with it. So it's a cousin to the lupus, and mine has RA symptoms.
Which is what exactly?
Rheumatoid arthritis symptoms. And mine, I have occasional flare-ups, and they're stress-related.
Okay.
So if my body's under a lot of stress, I'll have a flare-up. And
what does that mean exactly?
So I experience a lot of pain in my joints. It's so extreme that sometimes just getting out of bed is so hard. But like I say, it's stress-related. So when my body's under a lot of stress, that's how it responds to it. So you try to find healthy outlets for stress. And when I do have a flare-up, they give me high doses of steroids to get me through it. Sometimes I might need to take a sick day just to get me started on the relief, but ultimately it doesn't affect me. I'm able to come to work and produce like anybody else. Nobody else would be able to tell that we do have these these disabilities.
So in the past, if someone had a disability, we always thought about someone is missing a limb, or maybe they're blind or they can't hear. But we've come to learn that people with disabilities, that we all live amongst each other. So like I recently learned that pregnancy is considered a temporary disability because it changes a woman and the things that she can and can't do. But once she has her child, or the pregnancy ends, that she is no longer considered a person with a disability. So it could be just something circumstantial.
Or temporary.
Like, for instance, somebody breaks a leg. So while their leg is broken, they may need extra help versus when they're...
Accommodations maybe as well.
So, Maria, what is an accommodation?
So someone might need a special desk, a special type of equipment to accommodate that disability that they might have. They submit a form for that, and we try to provide it to them so that we can better support them, because we're here to support everybody. That's the main focus, that we want our employees to be healthy and feel supported.
Even working deployed to Hurricane Harvey, we had support employees that have a hearing disability, and we had interpreters. And so they were the employee, and we had the interpreter.
So how does that work, Deborah? If somebody is deaf and they're trying, can they still work?
Absolutely. There's no limits. They're thriving in the environment that they're in. They bring something to contribute to what the mission's all about, in helping people before, during, and after disasters. The piece that the accommodation would be the interpreter. And so that's provided.
And we even offer that at the interview. When they interview, if they have a special need, we'll offer an accommodation to accommodate for that interview.
So if someone, for instance, is deaf and they need an interpreter, they have all the credentials because they have their education and they meet all of the requirements to be hired, and they ask for a sign language interpreter for an interview, then by law, does the government have to offer that?
Yes. We provide that for them.
And it's not just a sign language interpreter. It could be all kinds of things.
Anything that is needed.
Okay, so it could be like somebody has a visibility, a sight type of impairment, so we would offer something to help with that.
Correct.
And then, of course, do we allow service animals in our facilities?
We sure do.
We do.
So the American with Disabilities Act is something that helped a lot of people, is it not?
Absolutely.
We're so grateful for it.
Yes.
And what does that mean exactly? What did it do?
It opened up the workplace. I mean, instead of just seeing the disability, you look inside the person and see the potential.
It allowed that workforce to feel supported and welcomed.
So you're saying that it's illegal or unlawful to discriminate against someone based on the fact that they have a disability?
It is.
Yes.
And not just in the federal government, is it, but at any place of employment?
It is.
There's all sorts of codes out there that now we have to be compliant with. Section 504, Section 508. They're all out there, and I'm sure people with disabilities are familiar with this, and it's in their favor.
So let me ask you both, working for FEMA, how does that allow you to help your communities? Is it something you enjoy? I know, Deborah, you said it's a great job and you like it. How do you feel you make a difference by working with FEMA?
I like the mission piece of it, helping the people. When people have gone through something very catastrophic and tragic, they feel like they're frozen in time, and they have more questions than answers. And I hope I'm the kind of person that can find them the answers and get them the help that they need. And if you look statistically, realistically, in the United States, half our population has some sort of disability or limitation. And so we at FEMA take that serious when we go out there and do our jobs. When I'm not wearing my daytime hat here in the Office of Regional Administrator, when I'm deployed, my title is Disability Integration Advisor. So when I'm out in the field, I'm advising on of accessibility matters and people with access and functional needs, and making sure they get the support and help that they need, that they're not overlooked.
Great. Now, Maria, as someone who works in mission support or employee services, how do you feel that you make a difference?
So we don't deploy as much. We're not able to because we're the ones that stay behind and help support our employees that are out in the field.
So what does that mean, deploy?
To go out in the field, to go out and support the people
After a disaster?
after a disaster.
Okay.
So we're not able to go and participate as much with that. So we stay behind, and we're the ones that make sure that our employees get paid. So for me, that's really important because while we're still here at home, we're still providing the support to the employees. Anything that they need, making sure that they're paid. If something happens and they're hurt and they need their insurance cards and they still haven't received them, anything to support our employees while they're out there. And sometimes, many times in the disasters while they're there, it's not an ideal condition for our employees either. So so I take that personal as well. And then I was able to support in helping assist the call center with taking some of the calls and actually supporting some of the survivors and taking their calls and provide applications.
Wow, that's fantastic. Let me ask you this before we complete our conversation. And again, thank you both for joining us and for your honesty and your candor today. What advice would you give to someone who is trying to get employment or considering employment at FEMA?
There is the Schedule A if they needed to go that route. And Schedule A is a letter that they receive from their physician that basically states that, yes, I have a disability, but that doesn't make me unable to do my job. I can do my job still with my disability.
And Maria, anything else that you might want to, would you recommend people with a disability to consider employment at FEMA?
I would encourage them. I always encourage people when I meet them. I might be fueling up with gas, and if I start talking to someone next to me, I always tell them where I work and that it's an awesome place. And please, if you'd like to apply, we'd love to have you as part of our team. It's very rewarding.
So to apply for a job with FEMA, what do people have to do, Maria, as the HR professional that you are?
Well, you go to usajobs.gov and apply, or the reservist program as well, or you can go to the Texas Workforce. It just depends on where we're advertising for those positions. Sometimes we'll have local hire positions, reservist positions. There's many ways to apply, but you can always contact us. And we're happy to answer any questions and guide you and help support.
Great. So usajobs.gov is a website that anybody can access to seek federal employment. Look for FEMA as an agency.
Or FEMA Careers. That's for the reservist.
Okay. And a reservist is what?
That's an on-call program that it's used for whenever there's a disaster. That's when they're called out and sent out to that disaster to go.
So,
support.
like if we have a hurricane, which all of us think about, or a tornado, we don't necessarily always send the people who are in Denton or in Austin or in Baton Rouge. How is it the people that come in, say, from California to support a disaster in Texas, those would be the reservists?
Correct. And they are headquarters, Washington, D.C.
Mm-hmm.
That is who houses them, or they're responsible for
their administrative
Yes.
support.
And that's who sends them out. And they go out to all over the nation to support different disasters.
Outstanding. So before we conclude, anything you all want to share or end with, Deborah?
Well, when I started at FEMA, it was a little intimidating, but I was actually lucky to have Maria across the hall, and I know I shot her many a question, and I appreciate what she's done. But yes, FEMA is a great place to work. It's a great place to launch and start a career and one day retire.
Yes. It
Maria?
has excellent retirement and benefits while you're working, and we truly become a family, I feel like. The regional administrator always, when he welcomes the new employees, he always tells them, we're your extended family, we're here when you're deployed to help out, and we truly feel that way.
Fantastic. Deborah Owens, Maria Markham, thank you so much for sharing some of your personal experiences at FEMA, and have a great day.
Thank you for
listening.
having us.
Thank you.
All right.